back to Simple Sacred Home. My name is Paige, and today I'm taking you with me through a Sunday of homemaking. Last year, I made a video in the winter titled Sunday Homemaking as a Christian, and in that video, I specifically talked about how we really try to have Sundays be our Sabbath day, a day of rest, a day of recharging, spending time with the Lord, spending time as a family, really separating it from the rest of the week. So typically on Sundays, we try not to need to cook. We try not to need to do any housework. It's more of a relaxing day. We can go do something as a family together. We can have a cozy afternoon in. We can work on a hobby or something that we enjoy, but really having it be very different than the rest of the week. You can go watch that video if you want to hear more about why we do that and how we do that. That is still our mentality and how we like to honor a Sabbath. However, in this season, we have a new baby at home, and I've really been struggling just to figure out our new normal as far as how to operate our household. I feel like my entire day is just taking care of baby, obviously, but trying to figure out, okay, what can I get done in the pockets of time that I do have, and trying to utilize my day the best that I can while also still enjoying this new life and this new season, because I know that it goes by so fast. So I say all that to say that a lot of times during the week, I'm just spending time with baby and maybe getting dishes done, maybe getting laundry done. My husband is doing 99.999% of the cooking. And so what we are finding is that the weekends is really when I'm able to get a little bit of extra stuff done that I typically haven't been able to get done during the week that needs to get done. That is what this Sunday is. This is not our typical Sunday Sabbath routine by any stretch of the imagination. This is much more of a full day of homemaking, getting things done, but this is just the season that we're in, and typically, like I said, there is a day during the week where I'm having a much slower day, just taking care of baby. And so sometimes those other days are more of a Sabbath than the current Sunday is. But while I'm getting some homemaking tasks done inside, my husband's actually outside working on our garden arbor. Last year he built this beautiful garden space for us, which he manages, and I had found at the time when I was still on Facebook, I had found on Marketplace a garden arbor. It was a really good deal. Arbors can be really expensive if you buy one, and so we had purchased one on Facebook Marketplace. We brought it home, my husband installed it, and it was just not good quality. It was brand new in the box, however, it was just a cheap arbor. And honestly, for the space, it was too small for our gate size to the garden, and so it just wasn't the best fit, but it was working for the time being. The real reason I wanted that arbor is because I want to grow roses up the side and over the arbor, and so this year we did get a climbing rose bush for Mother's Day, which is really exciting, and so hopefully over time that starts to grow up the arbor. But with that being said, my husband went ahead and built a new arbor, one that fit the garden fence better, one that's a lot more sturdy, and it looks really great. So if you guys are interested in more of a garden tour and seeing what we're growing out there, let me know. That's 100% my husband's project, but he does a great job with that, and I know that he'd be thrilled to be able to share what he's been up to out there. So let me know in the comments down below if that's something you're interested in seeing. But while he is working outside, I'm inside with baby, and we're going to get some meal prep done. We need to make dinner for tonight. I want to make some bread as well for dinner, and then to have it for the next few days. And also, I want to use my new Muffin Pan. I've been wanting to use the Muffin Pan because it's just super cute, and I had bananas. We needed to do something with them. So I found on farmhouseonboone's website, I found a sourdough discard banana muffin recipe. And so I went ahead and saw what I had in my pantry. I had almost all the ingredients. I didn't have dark brown sugar, but I had light brown sugar, so I subbed the dark brown for the light brown. I just used Smart Balance margarine instead of butter because, once again, my husband has the dairy allergy. And we mixed that all up in the KitchenAid. It's a super easy recipe. Highly recommend giving it a try. It's super quick, not a ton of steps, not a ton of mess. You probably have all of these ingredients already on hand, and if you don't, you can probably easily swap them out. I think that with the light brown sugar, it was a little bit less sweet than the dark brown sugar. I don't know if that's actually what makes the difference or not, but they weren't overly sweet, which might just be the recipe in general. They were really, really good. I highly recommend making them and giving them a try. I also went ahead and made my same day crusty loaf. This is an instant yeast recipe. I share this one all the time because in the season of, like I said, having a new baby at home, I just cannot be bothered with the sourdough right now. Like the feeding it, stretching it, folding it, it's not that it's hard by any means, but it is more time consuming, and every day is a new day, right? And so I never know what to expect. And so not putting the pressure on myself to have to stretch and fold and put it in the fridge and do all that and have it done in a certain time frame. I love that with the same day instant yeast recipe, I can mix it up when I'm ready to go, put it to the side to let it rise, and then you bake it for 30 minutes with the lid on in the Dutch oven, and then 12 minutes with the lid off. It's done. It's really easy. You can do it a few hours before dinner and you're ready to go, and it's very yummy. Me and my husband both really enjoy it, although my husband does prefer the sourdough. There's just a more consistent result with the rapid yeast rather than the sourdough. I still have been feeding my sourdough starter. We've been using it in other recipes, but I just haven't been making sourdough bread. If you're new to bread making, this is a super quick and easy recipe, or if you just have zero time to think about sourdough right now, then I highly recommend giving this recipe a try. It's very good and it's a staple. I'm also making a recipe that I've shared on here several times. This one's a little bit different, but it is a breakfast casserole. Me and my husband love this breakfast casserole because we have it for several days. So it's something that we can make, have it for dinner that night, and then we have it for multiple days after that, which is really nice. We are not afraid of leftovers. I know I've said that before, but we love making something and having it for a few days. It's just less time in the kitchen and it makes it easy. We don't have to think about a new meal every night of the week. So this week my husband actually went ahead, and normally I buy pre-cut diced potatoes, but my husband took the time to cut up the potatoes. He put them in a bag and put them in the freezer. Doing it this way is a lot more affordable. You're going to throw those in a pan with some butter, salt and pepper, put that in the oven, and then I'm going to cook some ground sausage on the stove with some salt and pepper. I'm going to take the potatoes out of the oven and then put the ground sausage layer on top. And then I'm going to put that back in the oven to bake. While that's baking, I'm going to cut up my veggies of choice. So I really like this recipe with spinach, tomato, black olives, and an onion. My husband really likes this recipe with bell pepper and onion. We actually ran out of onion, so this recipe was just bell peppers, egg, and ground sausage, but it was still really yummy. I actually really did enjoy it a lot, and I'm not a huge bell pepper person. You're just going to add that layer on top of the sausage, so you're kind of just doing one layer at a time, throwing it in the oven in between layers to cook. After you cut up your veggies and throw them in there, you're going to add your egg mixture on top. It's just however many eggs you desire. I did 16 on this day, and I added a splash of almond milk, some Italian seasoning, wanted to hop into this video really quick. This is real life. I have yet to brush my hair for the day, and I have you sitting in my window, so the light is kind of like really overkill. But I wanted to pop into this video to give you guys a little bit of a life update, actually a big life update. And that is that I am officially a homemaker, which if you've been following this channel for any length of time, you're probably confused because I've been making homemaking videos. But if you've been following for a while, you know that I have been working full-time in corporate America, and over the last couple of years I've really gotten interested in homemaking. Homemaking just has a lot of skills that I didn't grow up necessarily learning, and so the older I've gotten, the more I've wanted to implement those skills for myself and for my future family. And then of course getting married and having our first baby, I'm starting to now get to implement those skills on a daily basis. And after having our baby, we have decided that I'm going to stay at home, and my job description is actually going to be a homemaker now. So rather than just doing homemaking tasks and learning homemaking skills in my free pockets of time that, you know, like after work and on the weekends, now it is going to be my primary role, responsibility, aside from just being a mom. But I just wanted to give you guys this update because it's obviously a huge change for my family. We do have to definitely shift things because being one income is definitely a change when you're used to two incomes for your entire marriage, right? So yeah, I'm really excited though. I really feel like this is what the Lord wants us to do, and we're all on board with it. So it was definitely bittersweet to leave because I definitely believe that the Lord had put me in the corporate job that I was previously in. But we're also excited to start this new chapter, and I just wanted to give you guys an update because it's a big deal and I'm really excited. I'm sure over time, as I learn things and as we navigate what it's like to be a single income family and things like that, there might be more video topics that I can talk about that I previously couldn't. So let me know if you guys are interested in anything specific, and over time I'd love to talk about those topics. So always feel free, if there is a video topic or a certain style of video that I do that you really like, please let me know in the comments down below because that really helps me decide what videos I'm going to make in the future. So if you have a question, leave your questions down below because that helps me to know if it's something that I can answer in just one of my regular videos, or I can do a specific video answering that or talking about that subject or that topic. And of course, if there's a certain style of video or a certain video that you're interested in seeing, please let me know because that's super helpful for future videos that I make. I want to make videos that I enjoy making and filming and putting out for you guys, but I also want to make sure they're videos that you like. So that information, that feedback is super helpful. And I will say that there's a lot of you guys I know that watch my videos that are not subscribed. So if you wouldn't mind, feel free to like this video and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And I'm really excited to bring you guys more videos and just take you along on my homemaking journey. Next time I make these banana muffins, I'm definitely going to add some walnuts. I think that would taste so yummy and make a banana nut version of this recipe. They were super good. These were a big hit, and I'll definitely be making them again. It wouldn't be a Sunday night without an episode of The Waltons before we go to bed.